Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in today and watching today's video. My name is Naomi, also known as One Authentic Heart, blogging and vlogging at www.oneauthenticheart.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please do comment, subscribe, so that I really know that this is reaching people and really edifying and encouraging and challenging people. Thank you so much for the feedback I've had so far. As some of you might know if you follow these posts, I turned 4 on Monday as a blogger, I suppose. I haven't really done blogging as regularly as I have been in 2015 ever before, but my first ever blog post was actually in 2011, so I'm technically 4 now. But thank you so much for those of you that have recently joined this year as I've started to be more intentional about my blogging and vlogging. I really appreciate your support. I've had a lot of comments. I would just say please do subscribe to the channels as well as just watching the videos. That would be really cool. Thanks a lot. So today I do want to look at a very small passage, and it's in the book of Mark. As you know, I've been going through my Bible in a year, the HTB Bible reading plan. And the passage I want to look at is taken from Mark chapter 2, starting at verse 13. I'm just going to briefly read it. It says, "He went out again beside the lake, and all the crowd was coming to him, and he was teaching them. And as he passed, he saw Levi, the son of Alphaeus, sitting at the tax booth. And he said to him, 'Follow me.' And he rose and followed him." So just 2 verses. And the reason why I wanted to draw on them and the reason why those verses stood out for me was just because of how ordinary this encounter with Jesus seemed. Sometimes I feel like we are waiting for a big, extravagant, explosive encounter with God, and then we will truly know that we've met with God. I've met with a couple of young people from church youth groups who have said things like, "I don't know if God's speaking to me. I don't know if, I'm hearing God's voice because," and I feel like it's because they're anticipating this big road to Damascus revelation experience. And sometimes it's as ordinary as this. Jesus is out doing something. He's gone by the lake, he's walking. He sees a tax collector. So Levi, we know, is also Matthew, and he's more commonly referred to as Matthew, but here in the book of Mark he's referred to as Levi when he's called. And he's in his tax booth. He's doing his everyday job. And Jesus says, "Come and follow me." And he does. And I think that's as simple as it can be sometimes. And sometimes I think that we are the ones that overcomplicate it. I put here in my notes, Levi, Matthew, was just doing what he'd always done, collecting tax. Jesus just passed by and called him. It wasn't some special momentous moment. Jesus knew all of him and wanted him to be a disciple, even though he was just sitting there. Jesus pursued him, and Levi, Matthew, saw him as compelling enough to be followed. And I think that that is something that we can really take. Jesus is compelling. Jesus is a compelling person that we want to follow and we desire to follow. But sometimes what happens is that we think that God's not speaking to us because we don't have this blinding experience where we know it must certainly be God. And I would just say, listen for God in the ordinary. Listen for God in the everyday. Listen to God while you're at work. Listen for God while you're at school. Listen for God while you're at college, you're studying, you're at home, you're resting, you're looking after your children, you're washing up, whatever it might be. Listen for God in those moments, because he's very much in the business of speaking to us in the ordinary, in the everyday, just as well as the grand and momentous and big. God is with us. God speaks. He's not a God who longs to stay silent. He longs to call us and call us to follow him, even when it seems very ordinary. And we are just to trust, as I've said in previous posts, we are just to trust that he is God and that he's got big plans, not to compare our experiences and revelations of God with others, but just to trust that when God calls us, whether that's calls us for the first time to be his disciple or calls us into a new venture, some new season of our life, we are just to trust and be thankful that he's speaking. Not to doubt, not to feel like, oh, but this wasn't this big momentous occasion, so maybe it wasn't God, but to trust, have faith, believe that God is who he says he is, and that he wants to speak to you, he wants to give you good things, he wants to have a relationship with you as his daughter or as his son. So thanks a lot for watching. Please do stay tuned for more blogs over at www.oneauthentic.heart.com, and please do subscribe and comment if these are videos which you're enjoying, you're challenged by, you're feeling to do something yourself, whatever it might be, join in the conversation. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. God bless.